So that the role of the chairperson in the declaration of the result is recognized both under the Constitution, Article 38, but this court also specified that in playing that role, essentially what he's doing is playing the role of a returning officer. But this was even emphasized further in the clarification decision that was rendered by this court in 2017, and at paragraph 61 of the decision by the majority, the court said that at paragraph 61, it says that the it's a long sentence, but my lords and my ladies, I just want to read what is critical. It says the constituent returning officer aggregates Form 34A from the polling station into Form 34B before generating Form 34B. Doesn't the returning officer verify the figures in Form 34A? Is it not a fact that the second respondent, as the national returning officer, so that even in the clarification, when we came back to court and sought clarification, this court confirmed that in fact this gentleman is the returning officer, national returning officer, for purposes of the presidential election. And so the issue of him styling himself does not arise. And it just shows you the levels to which the chairman has been unfairly vilified in a situation where the law is quite clear in the conduct of on how he should conduct his affairs. The other thing that was also clarified a lot, and I'm just referring to this because there's no need for me to argue this if the authorities already say so, is that the chairperson, the verification that is referred to in Article 138, 3C, this court said that the verification that is undertaken by the commission employees, by the people that we saw in the rotunda, in the Tallinn Center, it says the first respondent on behalf of the second respondent, sometimes on behalf of the chairperson, must verify the results against those in the transmission. So that the way the petitioners have put it is completely the other way around. They are suggesting that the chairperson is the one who undertakes activities on behalf of the commissioner. It's actually the other way around. It is the commission employees that undertake the verification process on behalf of the chairman to enable him to declare the outcome of the result. Which takes me, my lords and my ladies, to the next issue that I want to cover, which is the declaration of the result a plenary decision? And the question that I must start with is, what is the decision that needed to be made at the national level? My lords, if you look at the architecture of Article 138 of the Constitution, and you look at the Elections Act, there is absolutely no decision that is supposed to be made at the National Tallying Center. None. The only thing that's supposed to be done is an arithmetic exercise, which is tallying, aggregating the results, verify that the form that has been brought by the constituency returning officers from the 34A compares or is the same as that which was computed electronically. Then add up the numbers, and then the chairperson is supposed to determine whether the threshold in Article 138.4 has been met, which is, has the person met the 50% plus 1 threshold? It's a question of arithmetic, which the chairman must make. And lastly, make a declaration whether there is somebody who has been validly elected. Fill the forms, and that is the end. That is the end of the exercise. He then gives the Form 34D to the president-elect, and that brings to an end the election process in respect of the president. The other administrative steps of giving the certificate to the Chief Justice and to the President comes later. Now, no one here is saying that there is this particular Form 34A that is different from the ones that were received. In fact, as my learned senior correctly said, nobody is saying that the number that was declared by the chairman is wrong, because according to us, the numbers achieved by the president-elect is different because they have calculated it. The number achieved by the second was a different number because they have calculated it. Nobody is talking numbers here. All that they are saying is trying to challenge the process that went on at the National Tallying Center. but nobody is saying that any particular number is wrong. And so, my lords and my ladies, the suggestion that we should have a plenary conversation about the result would one that would cause huge ramifications to this country. Because what would happen if after the elections have been conducted and completed, commissioners, for whatever reason, take different positions and decide that they are not agreed on the declaration to be made, and that a declaration cannot be made until they all agreed? If that was what was intended by the Constitution, nothing would have been easier for Article 138.10 to have made reference to members of the Commission. It is deliberate that it only required the chairperson to declare the results. And in my humble view, my humble submission, is that the protection intended by Article 138.10 of the Constitution worked in these circumstances. We got a declaration made because it is the obligation of the chairman to make that declaration, and anybody unhappy with that declaration, the option available to them is to come to the court, and the court will determine the case. The option cannot be that a number of the commissioners can decide we are the majority and we're going to walk away, and therefore there will be no declaration of a result. That is capturing the Constitution. It is ensuring that the Constitution is not able to ensure the establishment of a government in accordance with its provision. It is the reason why that obligation is cast on one person and one person only. And it is unfair to vilify Chebukati for doing what the Constitution told him to do. That if you are satisfied that the threshold in Article 138.4 has been met, and if you are satisfied that there is somebody who has been elected to be president, you need to make that declaration. Just like the declaration is made at the polling station, constituency level, county level, and at the presidential level. Well, this then takes me to the question of, and I don't want to spend a lot of time here, I will just gloss through it. What is verifying and tallying? I don't think I need to define this. I think verifying, as already said, is simply just comparing the electronically transmitted Form 34A against the Form 34B. The Form 34A original as brought by the returning officer from the constituencies against the ones that's the exercise that is called verification. Tallying is aggregating, it's adding up the numbers just to make sure that that has been done. And this exercise was carried out. And we'll show you by the videos that will be played that in fact the members of the commission, the commissioners, were involved in the exercise by where it was being undertaken at the National Tallying Center. Now, lords and ladies, you also referred to extensively to the regulations and to the Gazette notice. So let me say this first. This is the first time, my lords and ladies, that I hear a person being criticized for being too open. The chairman informed the purpose of the Gazette notice to inform the general public. The chairman informed the general public that he is the returning officer for purposes of the presidential election. He didn't need to do it, yes, but he did it. And he is being criticized for that very act of informing the public that of this fact. Secondly, they are now saying that because of the forms being in the public portal, it was possible for those forms to be interfered with in some way, and we'll show that there was no such interference. But the criticism now is you are too transparent. You are just showing people things. Even your numbers, you're showing them. That is a complaint. And my lords and my ladies, this court has gone to great lengths to say that under Article 10, transparency is an essential ingredient of governance. So when you're being transparent by providing information, how can you be vilified for that? My lords, the chairperson is also criticized for setting out the result path of the National Tallying Center. He is telling the public, this is how we'll carry out the function of tallying and verifying. How can that be a source of criticism? Nobody is saying that there's a promise you made in the result path that was not followed. And my lords and my ladies, it's a humble submission that the process that was followed at the National Tallying Center, which is set out in the Gazette notice that I do not need to read out to you, was transparent, was verifiable, and was in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. None of the agents that were involved and that signed the Form 34A has denied that they signed it. Nobody has come to challenge any particular document saying that it is not their document. And an interesting question was asked yesterday. How was a handwritten document to have been changed? In fact, by having it handwritten, it helps in ensuring that if there is any alteration, this is something that can be easily seen, because you can't change somebody's handwriting. As I leave this point, it is also important to note that the agents of the presidential candidates, all of them, all 4 presidential candidates, their agents were at the National Tallying Center on the day. All of them. They participated in the process of tallying and verification. None of them has sworn an affidavit saying any of the numbers that were being or the exercise that was being undertaken was wrong. None of them has picked a document, and they were allowed to take copies of all the documents. They were allowed to take images. None of them has complained about that process. Then we go to the issue of the 27th constituency, and this makes me feel very sad, because, my lords and my ladies, as this process was going on the 15th of August, at about 3 o'clock, the whole exercise of tallying and verifying had been completed, and that is in the affidavit of Marjan and Professor Gulier. Members of certain political parties decided that it was time to stop a process that had already started. We all watched in horror on TV as members, some of them who were in this court, confronted the chairperson, threw down the pulpit where he was to announce the results, threw down chairs, assaulted the chairperson and the commissioner.